What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Post Position Podcast. I'm your co-host, Jack Duffy. On today's episode, we give you guys a full All-Star Weekend preview. We start with the Rising Stars Challenge that happens tonight, along with the Skills Contest on Saturday, the three-point shootout, along with the Dunk Contest, and finally, talk about the actual All-Star Game on Sunday. We get a little sidetracked talking about Chipotle, but hey, never a bad time to talk about some food, but let's get into it.
All right, guys, welcome to the next episode of the Post Position Podcast, brought to you by The Pain and Lines. Joining me, as always, we have Jack Duffy. You can find him on Twitter at JackDuffyTPL. And we also have Brock. You can find him on Twitter at LandisBrock. I think this is the first episode of all three of us. How's everybody doing?
Jack 1, Jack 2, what it do, man? Let's get right into it. All right, I got a couple order of business to take care of tonight. I definitely want to get in the sticks. I got either MW2 or Fortnite to grind on tonight. I got no homework, so that's definitely in my future. And listen, man, I'm pretty hangry. Jack and I were talking before the podcast about all the carbs he was consuming. And, I got to hit my spot Chipotle because I'm feeling hangry. So this takes precedent. This is my priority. Let's talk basketball. But just know, after this podcast, I'm going straight to Chipotle, and then I'm going straight to Xbox.
So, Brock, is it 2 bowls, 2 burritos? How do you go about it?
So when I got money in my wallet, I get 2 burritos. But right now, pinching pennies, I'm getting 1 burrito, but I'm maximizing the burrito. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take myself right up to the front desk, or not the desk, where they prepare the food, same difference. I'm going to tell that woman or man, I'm going to look her right in her eyes.
Oh, okay? I know exactly what you're about to say.
We're going to lock eyes, and she's going to say, bowl or burrito. I'm going to – bro, how disrespect – give me a burrito. Okay, she's going to get the tortilla. She's going to heat the tortilla. She puts it down, white or brown rice. Brown rice, but could you put a little extra brown rice in there for me? Yes, sir. Extra brown rice goes in the burrito. What's next? Black beans. Bro, I swear to God, I could walk eyes closed to Chipotle, order my meal with my eyes closed, pay with my eyes closed, and eat it with my eyes closed and leave like clockwork. So I'm getting black beans on it. I'm getting chicken on it, and I'm getting steak on it because you get double meat for the price of one. So you could get chicken and steak for the price of steak. And I'm sure, Jack, you probably already know that. I guess
I do.
JD, I guess I've called you since you're Jack 1, Jack 2. So after I get my meats, I'm getting queso on it. After I get my queso on it, I'm getting cheese and lettuce, wrap it up, pay, and then it's down, man. I'm housing it.
Hey, I'll tell you one that's perfect. Hey, peppers and onions, game changer.
Yeah, I've never had it. I tried their medium salsa the other day. It was pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't take it over queso, but peppers and onions, I'll definitely give it a try. I'll take your word for it.
Oh, dude, the best part when you go in there is you look at them, nice look in the eyes, maybe give them a little wink and go, hey, give me as much as you can for free, as much as you can without overcharging me. And you go, or even if you want to, Brock, you can probably pull this off. You look at him and say, hey, this body's not going to feed itself. And you give her a little wink. If she laughs a little bit, you'll get away with it. You get some more food. So, hey, do anything
I'm not
you
even
can
a Chipotle guy. I'm just sitting here. I don't even eat Chipotle. I'm just like,
I was about to say,
get out.
You're probably guy. You're one of the most stoic guys I know, right? So when you have some leisure time and a little bit of change in your pocket, what are you going to eat? I got to ask you, Jack.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a stay-at-home guy. I work at a restaurant, so I eat my restaurant urge food there. I got TGI Fridays yesterday. I got a $5 fried chicken sandwich. That was pretty good.
$5 fried chicken sandwich. Listen, we got a Renaissance man on our hands. He can steal food from his work. He can prepare it at home, or he can step out in high fashion to TGIF. I like it.
I had to get my snowball mic. I was out and about.
All right, guys, let's get on to some Chipotle, some carb talk, some fitness talk, all that kind of stuff. But let's get on to some All-Star talk. So, just you two individually, what do you guys want to get out of All-Star Weekend? I know some people aren't big fans of it. Some people love it. But, individually, we'll start with Brock. What do you want to get out of this All-Star Weekend just in general?
I mean, I don't necessarily care about the Rising Stars Challenge game. The Skills Challenge is always an enjoyable prerequisite, and the three-point contest should be fun now that D-Book Sub-Zero is in the contest. But I really want a good slam dunk contest. When I think back to 2017, the Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon dunk contest, that was probably the last time I've been very entertained by a dunk contest. I have my guy Derek Jones participating in the contest, a local PA guy. Dwight Howard returns, and we all know what he did the last time he participated in a dunk contest. And I think there's going to be guys that are creative, and they're going to pay homage to Kobe Bryant in some way. So I'm excited to see how that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really just want a really good dunk contest. As we're recording this, it is 4 years ago today was the dunk contest that Brock just mentioned. An incredible one, probably top 3 all time. But I think the thing I want more than the dunk contest is a competitive all-star game. In some facet, at least make half of it competitive. Like I mean, I would love to watch the all-star game, but I can't sit there for 2 hours and watch them just chuck threes and do dunks with no defense. I want to see this is the best of the best. I want a competitive match, at least some-wise. Just give me a competitive match.
Yeah, I think one thing with this All-Star game, I think it could be, in a sense, a changing of a guard. We see guys like Luka Doncic, Bam Adebayo, Zion's going to be in it next year. You assume that Ja Morant's going to be there in the future. And then guys like Jason Tatum and Brandon Ingram are all new All-Stars and new kind of the new era of the NBA. Obviously, we don't have Steph, KD, or Kyrie this year. But, I mean, we kind of see a lot of new guys in the All-Star game this year. So it's sort of, like I said, a changing of the guard. So it's kind of giving the NBA fans on a national spotlight a look at what the future of the NBA is going to look like. So I think, in a sense, that's going to be kind of cool because it's kind of like the early 2010 stars kind of merging with the new era of guys. So I think that's going to be pretty cool to look at this weekend. I think it is going to be more competitive. But yeah, I mean, let's go over to the Rising Stars Challenge. So it's the game that's flexed on Friday night with the celebrity game. No one cares about the celebrity game. I'm not going to give any sort of my energy to talking about the celebrity game, but the Rising Stars Challenge, Jack, what excites you most about this game? I know you weren't a fan of Zion initially at first, but man, dude, this is the perfect environment for Zion just to showcase his athleticism, his ferocious dunks and blocks. Are you excited for it?
I think Zion and Trey, John, Jaren Jackson Jr. are just going to wipe the floor. I'll read through the rosters real quick if you guys don't have them with you, for the fans who don't know. So for the United States, we have Jack's guy, Miles Bridges, and his other guy, Devontae Graham, Colin Sexton, Jaren Jackson Jr., John Morant, Kendrick Nunn, Eric Pascal, PJ Washington, another one of your guys, Zion, and Trae Young. And for the world, we have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and DeAndre Ayton was supposed to be in it. He's replaced by Nicolo Melli, RJ Barrett, Brandon Clark, Luka, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Rui Hachimura, Zvi Malachuk, Josh Okogie, Moritz Wagner, and that is the roster you got going. I think the United States is going to wipe the floor. It's not even going to be a match. You have an all-star starter, the 2 best rookies in the league right now, and an incredible group of guys around them. It's just, I don't see how the United States loses this. Granted, the world has Luka Doncic, but really not much of anything else. I mean, you're looking at the United States' weakest guy is like Colin Sexton or Eric Pascal, and the world's weakest guy is Zvi Malachuk. Like this.
I mean, Jack, you were reading off a couple of names on that world roster, and I was getting ready to say, God bless you. I thought you sneezed or something. But for the United States roster, I'm excited. You got shot creators, and you got limitless range. Devontae Graham is a rhythm shooter, and he's also participating in the three-point contest. Trae Young, he is going to single-handedly force the NBA to extend the three-point line, make that range a little deeper. Because Trae Young is one of those transcending players where you have to guard him as soon as he passes half court. He has limitless range, and he too is participating in the three-point contest. Kendrick Nunn can take a defender off the dribble. He could shoot the hell out of the basketball. Jaren Jackson was even considered for the three-point contest, over 38% from deep this year. John Morant is a freak. His core vision and ball handling matched with his offensive capabilities is just unrivaled in the NBA. So I think offensively, the United States has a lot of firepower that the world roster can't compete with. When I think of the world roster, it's like they do have guys that are really good with game flow, and they do have a couple of creators, but it's going to be difficult. When DeAndre Ayton was first on this roster, I was confused as to how world roster is going to incorporate a guy whose game is predicated upon post play. Brandon Clark is a game flow guy. I'm not really sure how world is going to combat USA in this game.
So when they announced that DeAndre Ayton wasn't going to play in the game and they were going to put in Nico Melli, a 29-year-old rookie who is somewhat in the Pelicans rotation, who are not even a playoff team right now. He's averaging 6 points a game this year. I guess that's more than his teammate Nickeil Alexander-Walker. But man, I was not a fan of the Nicola Melli. But yeah, I think that it's not going to be even close. Colin Sexton's the worst player on the USA roster, I personally think. I think this is a perfect environment for Jaren Jackson Jr. For John Morant, because he can go and throw down those ferocious dunks and then throw lobs to Jaren Jackson Jr., to Miles Bridges, Zion Williamson. So, I mean, there's definitely going to be at least 2 or 3 John Morant to Zion Williamson alley-oops. And then on the world side, I mean, it's just going to be Luka Doncic. And then, I mean, RJ Barrett's going to get his shots in. So, I mean, that won't be that much fun. But a lot of people aren't a fan of the Rising Stars game. I personally think it's kind of fun. It kind of gets a little sloppy after, I'd say, the first quarter. We saw last year Ben Simmons kind of just running up and down the floor, getting those fast break dunks. It kind of was just Ben trying to get that MVP award. But it's usually kind of fun. I mean, we've seen guys break out and score 40 points like Kyle Kuzma has in the past, Bogdanovic. So I think it's definitely going to be entertaining. If you're watching it for quality basketball, it's not your place, not going to find it. But if you're looking for the future of the NBA with a bunch of good young guys, then this is your place to be. But, I mean, I'm still looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it. 3 of the Hornets are in there, which is tied for the most in the NBA with the Grizzlies, who have 3. So I'm definitely excited for it.
The one thing I want to say, the best thing that comes out of the Rising Star game is the jerseys. I absolutely love the jerseys year in and year out that they produce. It's an absolute travesty. They never produce them, except for this year they finally have put them out there. They have the Zion, I believe Trae Young's also. But in years past, they almost never sold them, and they're such great-looking jerseys. That's probably my favorite thing of the Rising Star game.
So are you saying I could get them on DHgate?
Well, if you want coronavirus, sure, you can get it shipped to you.
Yeah, I'll put a note in there so I can add Corona.
All right.
Do you want lime or no lime?
Man, add plenty of virus in there. I'm actually going to look that up right now. I mean, the world team is, I mean, you look at it, you got Luka, RJ, Rui Hachimura, and then Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's definitely the second best player on that team. I think USA wins by at least 25, but
wow.
I mean, just look at it, man. There's a whole bunch of shot creators on this USA team. There's not that many on the world team. It's more of like dependent guys on that world team. So a lot of forwards, not a lot of ball handlers. And you look at the world team. I mean, Tyler Herro could drop 40. Zion could drop 40. Trae Young could drop 50. I mean, Miles Bridges could even drop 30 if he wanted to. John Morant, Devontae Graham, Colin Sexton if he's having a game where he's scoring a bunch of points. So, I mean, you look at that world roster, there's maybe 3 of those guys. So I think it's going to be a pretty handily win for the Team USA. But that's not the meaning. That's not the point of this game. The point of this game is showing that, all right, there's a bunch of young talent from the USA, but also the NBA is a global sport, a global organization, and there's a lot of guys from around the world that are also in our league that are young guys that are contributing. So there's definitely a bright spot there.
And a young Aussie in Matisse Thybulle didn't even get consideration, it seemed like, for this Rising Stars game. And I anticipate it's because you can't really advertise defense in a game like this, but I was curious to know what Jack 1 and Jack 2 you guys think about Matisse Thybulle getting stuff from this roster, both on the first time the roster was picked and now with Herro not placing and DeAndre Ayton getting replaced, Matisse Thybulle not stepping up there. Or I guess not stepping up would be the wrong terminology, not fulfilling that role as a replacement.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real shame. I don't think he would have qualified as Australian. I know he kind of has some sort of nationality. I don't know how it checks out, but I think he would have been in the United States roster if he were to make it. I don't get how a guy – I mean, I feel like they're kind of trying to go for scores. Obviously, it's a shame. It's kind of just advertising. League defense isn't, like, noticed or it isn't appreciated. I mean, Matisse isn't really a scorer. He can hit a knockdown 3 in the corner for you once in a while if he's wide open. That's not his calling card. His calling card's his defense. He doesn't put up many points per game. And the casual fan is going to look at him like, why is this guy that's putting up, like, 5 points per game in the Rising Stars game instead of somebody like Colin Sexton, who they kind of recognize more, even they realize Matisse's value is probably a lot more than Sexton. I just think it's a shame. Matisse is such a hard worker. He's probably one of the best rookies out of this draft. He's going to make an all-rookie team. Either it's probably going to be second team, but still, I think he deserved to be in this. His defensive effort, it's incredible. It's an incredible instinct. I can't wait to watch him develop, but it's a real shame he didn't make it over a guy like Colin Sexton or Eric Pascal. It's just I wish he was able to get that shot because he really does deserve it.
So I said this before, and I'll say it again. This Rising Stars Challenge and the All-Star Weekend, it's a moneymaker for the NBA. It's also to showcase everyone in the whole league's talent. But look at Colin Sexton, 19.8 points per game, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. And then you look at Matisse Thybulle was at 5 points, 2.5 rebounds around. A lot of steals, a lot of deflections. But if you're a fan and for aesthetic pleasure, you want to watch a basketball game, you're going to pick Colin Sexton over Matisse Thybulle. But don't get me wrong. I love Matisse. I love watching him. What he does on defense at the end is he's already one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA as a rookie. But you look at Sexton's numbers and you look at Sexton from what he puts on a basketball floor from a viewing perspective, you're going to pick him 7 days out of the week. Sadly, not a fan of Colin Sexton. There's a lot of teammates. J.R. Smith said last year that he didn't think Sexton knew how to play basketball, and there are a lot of other Cavs teammates that were frustrated with him as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame that Thybulle's not on there, but if he was Australian, he'd definitely be on this list because, I mean, there's guys on there averaging 5 points per game, and then you have Nicolò Melli on there. So if he somehow was like Australian eligible, which he's not, he would definitely have been on there. But it's tough, man. It's kind of more a testament to how many young, talented guys are on the USA side more than anything.
I agree with that. And like I said, you can't really advertise defense, and you guys really reiterated that point for me.
Yeah, do y'all want to move on to the skills challenge? So skills challenge, the roster.
I think it's always usually 4 and 4. So I think it's gonna be Beverly, Middleton, Dinwiddie, Gilgeous-Alexander, and then you said Siakam, Adebayo, Tatum, and Sabonis. I don't know if you said all 8 of those guys.
Yeah.
Usually 8 people. So I don't know. I'm gonna go with Dinwiddie. I like Spencer Dinwiddie. I think he's gonna pull through and win this one this year. I remember was it last year or 2 years ago that it was Embiid and Markkanen were kind of like the last two?
It had to be 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
I think Markkanen was hurt last year. You know, I'm inclined to take Spencer Dinwiddie. That's just my intuition telling me, but I've been going with Chris Middleton all day. In my head, when I think about this, I keep wanting to pick Chris Middleton, but I'm telling myself, take Spencer Dinwiddie. So I'm going to take Chris Middleton. The dude is a marksman. He can handle the ball well. And this is a contest that really isn't predicated upon anything you can look at statistically or on the court, because this is just a fun contest where you try to overcome obstacles. So there's really no indication that any of these guys has the upper hand in this contest. But I'm going to take Chris Middleton because, Jack, you took my pick in Spencer Dinwiddie.
Duffy, who do you got?
Consistent theme for me this weekend, I'm going with the big guys. So I'm saying Bam Adebayo is going to bring the hardware home. I think there's a good chance that it's going to be Siakam could be in there too because it was 3-point shot. But, man, give me Bam, Sabonis, or Siakam. I'm going for the big guys, and that'll be a consistent trend for me throughout this. But, yeah, man, big fan of Bam. Zach Lowe's piece on him this morning was beautiful as usual. But, yeah, I mean, I just like seeing the big guys win. I think that'd be a cool little trend for the NBA. Like you said, it's really hard to predicate what kind of guys can actually win this contest because it's a weird. You watch, it's a weird contest. You're dribbling through cones through those little defense dummy guys. You're making layups, 3-pointers. So it's a strange contest. It's kind of one of those things where it's not really who's the best passer, who's the best shooter. It's more of like, can you get this whole entire course on the first try? So, hey, man, give me one of those 3 big guys and I'll be happy.
Yeah. All right, I think it's going to be interesting for sure. Brock, you have anything else you want to add to it?
No. I mean, Jack's staying big, and that's fine and all, but here's one thing I'm looking at, right? You know when you got to make that pass into that hoop?
The bounce pass?
Yeah. I'm thinking if you're a shorter guard, it's a bounce pass, right? It's not a line drive pass. I thought it was a line drive pass. I guess it's a bounce pass.
There's one of each, I think.
So if you're a shorter guard, I think that throwing a pass upwards or right at eye level, chest level, would probably be easier than if you're a taller guy having to make that pass downward, no?
Yeah. I mean,
unless they adjust the obstacle to height.
Center of gravity. Close to the ground. Hey, let's root for error, man.
Chris Middleton is a true hooper. I feel like my guy's being slept on right now. Chris Middleton's a Swiss Army knife on the court. He can handle, he can shoot, he can run, he can do it all. All of these guys can, but I'll tell you why he's going to win for one reason. I picked him.
Hey, if you're endorsed by Brock Landis, then hey, man, you're guaranteed to win anything in the All-Star Challenge. So, All-Star Weekend.
Brock seal of approval.
Yeah. All right, man, let's get on to this three-point shooting because there's definitely a lot we need to talk about. We got some really good candidates. Devontae Graham, Zach LaVine, Duncan Robinson, Trae Young, Buddy Hield, Davis Bertans, Joe Harris, and Devin Booker is replacing Damian Lillard. Now, I've made my pick, but I'm curious to know. Jack 1, Jack 2, who do you got?
Buddy Hield. I'm going to go Buddy Hield. I don't think Joe Harris repeats. I like Buddy Hield. I'm just taking a guess here because you really can't say who's the best three-point shooter because it's the best three-point shooters. If it was Steph or Klay Thompson, it would be different. But I have to, or even I'm going to go Buddy Hield. I think Buddy Hield's going to take it home, and my second place is Trae Young.
So I've actually gotten the privilege this year to watch every single one of these guys that are shooting three-point contests shoot in person during warm-ups against the Hornets, and while I think that the average person would probably pick Trae Young, I really think that it's going to be Davis Bertans or Duncan Robinson. I think both of those guys are shooting the lights out of the ball this year. I saw Davis Bertans before they played the Hornets about a month and a half ago. I saw him make 33s in a row, and then I just walked back into the media cafeteria and got food. Because all right, I got my 30 in. I'm just going to go back. And, man, this dude was making them from 6 feet behind the line. He's making them off the dribble. He's making them sprinting to a corner off the catch. This man can do it all. And then Duncan Robinson as well, one of the leaders in three-point shooting in the NBA this year. Kind of been slept on. He's not getting talked. He made 10 three-pointers in a game this year, not getting talked about as much as he should. But, I mean, I think the three-point contest out of any of the challenges in All-Star Weekend is probably the most competitive because dunk contest, it's usually like one or two guys that kind of stick out. And then I think the three-point contest is way more competitive. I mean, you see all these guys. I mean, Devontae Graham is probably the worst three-point shooter of all these guys, and he's one of the top guys in the NBA this year. So it's a really competitive contest. I think if Damian Lillard was in this contest, he's the best player in this contest, and he's shooting 40% on threes off the dribble this year. So, I mean, obviously this contest is off the catch, but I think Damian Lillard would have brought the hardware home if he was playing. But I think, man, this contest, I'm going with more bigger guys again, Duncan Robinson or Davis Bertans. They're both worthy candidates.
All right, now I used a couple of indicators to pick my winner here. So I looked at who attempted the most three-point attempts in the corner this season, and it was Duncan Robinson. 108 attempts there. In 108 attempts, he's 45.3% successful there. Above the break, which is at the top of the key, Duncan Robinson and Davis Bertans are the only two of this entire pool of players to shoot over 40% there. Now, instinctively, I wanted to take Bertans because through word of mouth and social media, I've seen this guy make countless three-point attempts in practice. I mean, he doesn't miss. Trae Young has the highest corner three-point percentage on a limited amount. He's 12 of 18 there. But having said all of that, I'm picking Joe Harris to repeat for the three-point contest. In 57 attempts in the corner, 50.8% above the break, nearly 40%. Joe Harris, all this guy does in practice is shoot three-point attempts. I mean, of course he does everything else. But when Joe Harris has the basketball in his hand, his first shot is probably a three-point attempt, and his last shot is a three-point attempt. He makes his money on three-point attempts. Joe Harris is a white man with a beard. I can resonate with that. I'm picking Joe Harris to win the three-point contest.
So, a little bit of trivia for everyone. So, the only guy in NBA history to win back-to-back three-point contests is Philly's own Jason Capano, one of my favorite shooters of all time. Just want to throw that out there. And just, I mean, if you have any opportunity you have to throw out Jason Capano, you got to do it.
That'd be what, like 2009?
Yeah, man, it was over 10 years ago.
Jeez. Well, Devin Booker won a three-point contest too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but it's back-to-back. It's like back-to-back.
Yeah. But I just
Devin Booker's won before.
Devin Booker's won before. Joe Harris has won before. My sleeper pick was honestly Zach LaVine. I think a lot of people are discrediting Zach LaVine, and I think he's a very, very good sleeper option for this three-point contest.
Dude, I saw him pour 49 on the Hornets with 13 three-pointers, man. Dude can shoot the ball.
Exactly. He's a momentum player, and once he gets into a rhythm, he really doesn't miss from deep.
So one thing I wanted to add, so this is kind of, I forgot to preface this like before we started the podcast today, guys, but on Twitter yesterday, I put out a list of my favorite three-point shooter of all time. It's not the best. It's my personal favorite. And I kind of want to give out my list, and then y'all can kind of add in some of your favorites, but just in honor of three-point contest this weekend because it's my favorite. It's my favorite out of the three things on Saturday night. But my list was Steve Novak, Jason Capano, Peja Stojakovic, Mehmet Okur, if people forgot about him, the big guy. He's played for the Jazz. Luke Babbitt, Mike Miller, Michael Redd, Matt Bonner, Jason Terry. And then, obviously, you can throw in, if you want, Petrovic or – honestly, yeah, that's a very good list. That's my list. What about you guys? Any of your favorite shooters growing up? Not like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. Those. I mean, come on. Be more creative.
Hey, I love me some Stojakovic. Peja Stojakovic. He's just I don't know why. He's like the one player that always just sticks in my mind as a 3-point shooter. I just love Peja. I don't know. I mean, I got to think Kyle Korver. I'm the Sixers guy, so I kind of grew up a little bit watching Kyle Korver in Philly a little bit. I was kind of young, but I mean, those are kind of the first two off the top of my head. I feel like Kyle Korver is kind of a bandwagon, easy take. But yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit all of them, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's a tough question. You're putting me on the spot here, and I'm trying to recollect some of my memories, think about who I used to use in 2K or abuse my friends with when I play with, but I'm really drawing a blank. So I'll give you a better answer. I'm my own favorite three-point shooter. I don't know if you guys have received word through the grapevine, but listen, if you've seen me play rec ball, I can help space that floor a little bit. Jack, we talked about you as a floor spacer, but I bet you never seen a 200-pound man that looks like a gorilla like me chuck up threes. So I can help floor space a little bit.
What's your percentages?
You know what? I can't tell you that because then that's giving away information that could be deemed important.
Hey, you're TPL stat magician, man. Come on, you gotta give me something.
All right. On a per game basis, I'm probably sub 25%. Okay, but collectively, my contributions help a lot because I can maybe pull a defender out, which helps my teammates. So me missing as many 3-point shots as I attempt, it could help in a sense because maybe, just maybe, I attract a little bit of gravity on the floor to help my teammates out.
Man, that'll always help, man. Not sure I can back that one up with stats from my own game, but man, I'll tell you, my favorite basketball player of all time is Steve Novak. Anyone that knows me knows I've been a Steve Novak stan since about 2010.
Yeah, what's that about?
Man, you know, there's just something, there's this aura that Steve Novak attracts, man, and I can't explain it. I can't explain it, can't put it into words, dude, but just watching that man shoot is probably the most beautiful thing ever. If I could marry Steve Novak's jump shot in a perfect world, I would, but that's obviously impossible. If it was possible, man, just watch that man shoot. Go on YouTube. Yeah, that was a weird way to end the 3-point contest segment. Let's move on to the dunk contest.
We got the bell of the ball here, the dunk contest. It kind of feels like it's a two-man race with two people kind of thrown in there. One of them, it feels like it's the version of last year's Dirk Nowitzki's retirement, D. Wade's retirement, honoree in the All-Star. They kind of threw Dwight Howard in there because it's the last year. He'll be able to probably be athletic. We got Dwight Howard, Derrick Jones Jr., Aaron Gordon, Pat Connaughton. I think this is a two-man race between Derrick Jones Jr. and Aaron Gordon. I think Derrick Jones Jr. is the best in-game dunker in the NBA, and Aaron Gordon's just ridiculously athletic. I don't know what Dwight Howard brings to the table at, what is he, 31, 32 years old at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know what he brings dunk-wise. I don't know. I don't think he has that athleticism anymore. Granted, he could surprise me, but I'll see it. And Pat Connaughton, he's all right. He's a solid dunker, but I don't think he's on the same level as Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr. We know what Gordon brings to the table. We know what Derrick Jones brings to the table. If I had to pick, I'm going Derrick Jones Jr. Who do you guys got?
So it's been 10 years since 34-year-old Dwight Howard has gone in a NBA dunk contest at All-Star Weekend. He's not Superman anymore. I mean, it's cool that he's a Laker. He's going to pay some tribute to Kobe. during this event this weekend. And I also think that LeBron James is probably going to do something before the All-Star game. I wouldn't be surprised if he did a speech. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think Dwight's going to do – I think it's more for just old time's sake having Dwight in there, and he was open to doing it, which is cool. And he's also had a resurgence, so that'll bring more fans into it. And everyone just loves the whole old Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson dunk contest. Those were historic. But yeah, man, I think there's one thing about that some people can resonate with. Like, you have this one little – the shortest guy in the dunk contest is Pat Connaughton. See, the short little white guy in there with a 44-inch vertical, which, by the way, is tied for the highest ever at the NBA Combine, 44 inches for Pat Connaughton, also my boy from Notre Dame. But, I mean, the thing about Pat Connaughton is it's in Chicago, so it's close to South Bend, so there could be some hometown feel there. But, yeah, I think it is a two-man race between Aaron Gordon and Derrick Jones Jr.
Yeah. Brock, what do you think?
Now, Derrick Jones and Aaron Gordon have both previously lost in a dunk contest, so I think that could fuel some motivation for them. But, man, I mean, Jack, both of you, you're sleeping on Dwight Howard for no reason. For a guy at his height and his stature, a dunk is a layup. Now, the dunk contest is really about how creative you can get. It's not about who could put the ball through their legs and do a dunk anymore. It's about the extracurriculars, who you can bring out onto the court, what they can contribute, what you come out wearing. Now, of these four, I think the most creative is Dwight Howard. And in what we saw in his previous dunk contest, now, yeah, I know what you're going to say. Aaron Gordon brought a drone out. Aaron Gordon did this and that. I don't want to hear anything about Aaron Gordon, right? I'm putting this on Dwight Howard's shoulders. Dwight Howard is winning this dunk contest, and he's going to do it comfortably, okay? And I'm not even saying that for shock value. A dunk is a layup. For a guy his stature, I think he's the most creative of the four. Like I alluded to before, I love Derrick Jones. He's a local PA guy, and he probably has the best bounce in the NBA. But I think Derrick Jones is going to peak early. I don't know how creative he could possibly get. And like I said, this is a contest that's predicated upon creativity. Dwight Howard has that, and he definitely has the body of work and the friends that he can bring into this and involve it with the dunk contest for him to win.
I don't know. I get it. I don't doubt that Dwight Howard can dunk, but does he have athleticism pull off the range of dunks like Derrick Jones Jr. and Gordon? Can he still put it between his legs? Like, can he do ridiculous dunks? I don't think he can.
See, my thing is like, you got a 44-inch vertical. Speaking of Pat Connaughton, what is Pat Connaughton going to do? I mean, Dwight Howard has. I don't know. I love Dwight Howard in this contest for some reason. I think we're talking about him like he's a washed up old piece of crap, and the NBA just threw something at the wall and they're hoping it sticks with Dwight Howard. There's a reason he's one of these four contestants, and I just think Dwight Howard has something really creative in the works. And because he's a Laker, I think he's going to pay homage to Kobe Bryant in some sort of way. And today I look back at Kobe Bryant's top 10 career dunks, and the best I could really find was in-game dunks. And in the 1997 dunk contest when Kobe won, it was a completely different time. So the two dunks or three that Kobe won on during those contests, they wouldn't really fly in today's NBA dunk contest. And that wouldn't be enough to secure you a win. But I don't know. I just think Dwight Howard is the most creative. He's probably the funniest of the four, and I think he could call up a few people that he can involve in his dunk contest skit that would also secure him a win.
So I don't think Dwight's going to be able to throw up that Dwight face sticker at the very top of the backboard or go to the 12-foot goal and throw down a ferocious dunk. But what I'll say, Brock, is I've seen him in pregame warmups this year on videos on Instagram, Twitter, and then on pregame on League Pass. And, man, homie just doesn't have the hops anymore. You can slice it any way you want it. I would love for Dwight Howard to somehow add 10 inches that vertical like he used to have and, man, just spring up there and get some dunks. But I don't think he has it in him anymore. I would love to see him, like, show out here and throw down some dunks. But I will say this. Aaron Gordon probably has the biggest snub in All-Star history in the dunk contest. We saw the last one with the drone. The Intel drone he brought in took him to his third try to finally pull off that dunk. That was really creative. He had the one against Zach LaVine where Zach LaVine kind of just did three different free throw line dunks that weren't really much different. And Aaron Gordon had that homie on the hoverboard, spin around. He put it behind his legs. He also had that the spinning one with the guy on the Magic's mascot on the hoverboard again. So I just think Aaron Gordon is just kind of just from a creativity standpoint, he's definitely going to pull something out. He's had a couple years to figure out what he's going to do next. And man, I will say this: I've seen one guy on Earth ever that has air brakes, and that man is Dr. Julius Erving. The man had air brakes. He's the most creative guy in air I've ever seen in my entire life. Not in person, on video. I'm too young for that. But one thing about Derek Jones Jr. is, man, when I've seen him in person, the dude literally flies through the air at a faster rate than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life. And the thing about Derek Jones is, man, he's so light that he moves through the air way differently than any of these other guys do. All these other guys are a bit bulky. Derek Jones is what, 6'7", 100 and – is he even 200 pounds? There's no way.
I doubt it.
There's no way this man's 200 pounds. This man's a bag of sticks. Homie is like, there's nothing holding this guy back from flying 50 inches in the air. So I think from a creativity standpoint, Aaron Gordon, but man, Derek Jones can do those between the legs.
210,
man.
6'6", 210. But he's a very slim 210. That's all height.
Yeah, that's what ankle weight's on.
But yeah, I just agree. It's just he's just an incredible dunker. I don't think Dwight Howard does enough to match him or Aaron Gordon, and I don't think that Pat Connaughton's going to even reach their level. It's a two-man race, to be honest with you.
Another thing you got to think about is wingspan, though. I just went back and watched the 2008 NBA dunk contest, and Dwight Howard's first dunk was pretty damn impressive. He threw it off the back of the backboard, caught it, and kind of did a windmill and dunked it. And that was his first dunk, and that yielded mostly all 10. So I'm looking at wingspan as a very a dark horse intangible for players to use in this dunk contest. And I like Dwight. I'm not backing down from that statement. All right, I don't care how much you guys bully me. Dwight Howard is taking home the hardware with this contest. But I just got to thinking, who's going to have the freshest fit courtside for the NBA dunk contest?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I got to think.
I don't know. Kelly Oubre Jr. Kelly Oubre.
Tsunami Poppy.
Tsunami Poppy. Yeah, I mean, Kelly Oubre, if he's there, I mean, it's in Chicago?
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to show up for Chi-Town. AD's
going to be there looking fresh in his hometown as well. So that'll be another thing, I think, on All-Star Game that'll be a factor. And I think they're going to feed AD a little bit, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
I'm going to say it's either going to be Paul George if he goes, Anthony Davis, or Russell Westbrook.
Dude,
Russ is always fresh, yeah. In his own unique way, too. No one ever looks anything like Russ does. That's what makes it even better.
Never.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to this 2020 All-Star Game. So you look at the rosters. If I was an NBA GM, man, Giannis is probably the worst GM I've ever seen. At first, when I looked at the list, I was like, man, I would never have Giannis as my GM if I was an NBA owner. Never. I mean, look at his team. It's a whole bunch of big guys. But, I mean, what kind of sticks out to you most just about the whole game overall?
I don't like Embiid and Butler on the same team. I don't like it. As a Sixers fan, I don't like it. I just, like you said, I think Giannis, fantastic player, should never see a front office for making decisions as part of a team in his future. Talent evaluation, sure, but never roster construction. It is ridiculous. I mean, it feels like it's the East versus the West, but like two bench people are swapped. So I remember when I first saw the roster, I was like, oh, East, like West dominate, but the good thing is the draft and everything's gonna get mixed up, and then the starters get picked, and it's like, oh, that's the East starters versus the West starters. I'm like, well, at least maybe he'll pick a good bench, and then he didn't pick a good bench.
Well, here's what I'm thinking about Team Giannis. So offensively, I think the West is definitely better, or Team LeBron is definitely better. But you look at the guards, okay? James Harden, Damian Lillard's not playing. Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. The guards on Team LeBron it's pretty impressive, but they definitely have a physical advantage over Team Giannis there. Except if you're James Harden and you're dribbling around the perimeter, and you have all these isolation drives, right? If you drive anywhere near the paint, what are you going to do? James Harden's going to have to shoot a floater more often than not, because if Giannis resides in the paint, if Embiid is in the paint, if Pascal Siakam is in the paint, if Rudy Gobert are in the paint, you're not getting the shots off that you frequently get off. So I think the guards on Team LeBron are going to have to be really crafty. So while they may have that physical advantage, they're going to have to work for their shots a lot harder than usual inside of the perimeter. Now, outside of the perimeter, collectively, Team Giannis has a higher field goal percentage and a higher three-point percentage. So I'm looking at this as Giannis picked his team, and he said, we have height, we have more blocks than everybody on Team LeBron collectively. So if you bring the ball into the paint, it's not going to be a fun day for you if you're a guard. And offensively, we can play bully ball. I'm Giannis. We got Joe. We got Pascal. We can play bully ball. But if not, we're going to kick it. And we got some very able-bodied three-point shooters. I'm taking Team Giannis in this game.
You act like they're going to play aggressive bully ball defense in an all-star game or bully ball offense. I don't think that happens.
Jack, here's why it happens. Here's why it happens. So if y'all watched the draft, the all-star draft on TNT, you saw when LeBron talked about his trade last year it was Russell Westbrook for Ben Simmons, Giannis giving LeBron Ben Simmons, and he said Giannis that trade lost him the game, and Giannis was sitting there like cracking his knuckles, like pulling his hands around. So Giannis wants to win this game. He has an idea. He does not like losing. And if you saw the game last year, that was obvious. Giannis wasn't in there trying to fool around. Giannis was like, all right, I'm gonna dunk on these dudes. I'm going to destroy some guys. And if you look at his roster, all the guys on his team, Giannis, Pascal Siakam, Kemba Walker, Bam Adebayo, Rudy Gobert, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, Chris Middleton, all these guys aren't those show bop guys that are going to dribble around and make themselves look pretty out there. All those guys he picked on his team are going to go out there and play hard and play basketball, and that's why he picked that team. So, man, I'm going Team Giannis, and I think there's going to be a competitive edge in this game this year that we haven't seen in years past. I think with that final quarter going up to 25 points, it's first team to 25 points ahead of whoever was winning going into the fourth quarter. I think that's going to make it a little bit more competitive. So I think obviously it's not going to be as competitive as an NBA game, but I think it's going to be more competitive this year. You look at guys Rudy Gobert's on this team. What is Rudy Gobert going to do for fun in an all-star game besides throw down an alley-oop dunk? So, this team of Giannis, Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, those guys are going to want to win. I think Giannis being the captain of that team is going to be like, all right, guys, I'm winning this game, financial incentive, and also for charity too. Throw that in there. But, dude, I think Team Giannis wins. I think you look at LeBron's team, James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, they don't really do well in all-star game format. So, man, I'm actually kind of excited for this game.
Yeah, I am too. And there was a sports data journalist, Rohan Gupta, for Medium.com that took the collective offensive ratings, defensive ratings, plus minuses, and player efficiency ratings of all the players on both teams combined. So for Team Giannis, they have a lower offensive rating by 1. They have a better defensive rating. Their player efficiency rating is slightly lower, but all of this to arrive at win probability. And Team West, LeBron's team, has a 33.9% chance to win this game. Team Giannis is 31.3%. I think it's really close, but I think that defensive edge is going to matter. Jack, like you said, there is incentive. There's charity involved. And LeBron James, as much as he's going to win this game, or won to win this game, rather, for Kobe Bryant, I just think Giannis drafted a bunch of dogs. And I thought it was funny on the TNT broadcast during the draft when James Harden was still available and there was other point guards. He didn't draft Harden. And as he was on the clock, Chuck said, what, you don't want the dribbler? And that's what I think is funny. I think there's a lot of players that are creative, but the guards are going to struggle mightily with this height on Team Giannis.
Yeah, I think the height will play a factor in it, but I just think it's best players overall. It's just you have to go with Team LeBron, and that's where my money stands is Team LeBron. I think.
So also, do y'all think that Giannis is a free agent in 2021? I was just looking down at the coaching list. It's been rumored that the Raptors are going to go after Giannis pretty hard, but do you think that Nick Nurse is going to try to, appease Giannis a bit in this All-Star game?
I think there will definitely be some colluding of whether it's Giannis. I think there will be a bunch of colluding on a bunch of different sides, to be honest with you. It always happens at the All-Star weekend, so there's no doubt.
And people just want something to talk about, but it's a double sword because if you remember a year or two ago at the All-Star game, there was a picture of LeBron James and Anthony Davis smiling and handshaking. So people thought they were plotting at the All-Star. I'm just kidding, man. There's not going to be any of that. This is going to be a
Kevin
fun
Durant,
weekend.
Kyrie last year.
Giannis Antetokounmpo will remain in Milwaukee for the duration of his career, in my opinion. I know people think because he drafted Bam and Jimmy, there's potentially a relationship sparked with Miami or Giannis to Golden State. Giannis here, Giannis there. I think he's going to sign a lifetime contract in Milwaukee. I think he really likes what the organization has done, and the organization has given him full throttle. They said, we're going to build around you. You tell us what you want, we will get we'll get them. And the Bucks, I think they're going to do whatever they deem necessary to maintain Giannis, and I think he remains a Buck.
Yeah, I think that's honestly pretty likely. I mean, I think last summer you don't give Chris Middleton that contract without the idea of, all right, well, if Giannis didn't sign off on Chris Middleton, then I don't think the Bucks would have signed him because, I mean, that's contract's not going to play out well. Obviously, Middleton has career highs in all categories this year, but yeah, I think I was kind of basically kidding with that whole Nick Nurse thing. But one thing I do think is going to happen this weekend, the game's in Chicago, and you look at Team LeBron. Anthony Davis is a Chicago native, so I think that he might be force-fed a little bit extra this weekend in the All-Star game, and I think there's a good chance he wins MVP. But do y'all have an idea of who wins All-Star game MVP this year?
Anthony Davis. I think it just goes to him. It's his city. Lakers. It just makes – I think he's just going to come out balling. I think it's going to go to AD.
I'm taking Giannis. I mean, he's the most dominant player in the NBA as of right now. He's won Eastern Conference Player of the Week virtually every single week that it's been eligible in the Eastern Conference. So I'm taking Giannis.
Also, this is not playing, but do you all have a favorite All-Star game memory from the last couple of years or just ever?
The Kobe, LeBron, one-on-one ISO, and Drake just awkwardly clapping and getting in the picture.
Now this is surprising, but my favorite, because my favorite player of all time is DeMarcus Cousins, was when Anthony Davis came out in the DeMarcus Cousins jersey after he tore his Achilles.
That was cool.
That season when he was with New Orleans. So I think that's probably my favorite moment.
I'd say mine's kind of connected. So it starts with, do you remember in the All-Star game when Dwayne Wade hit Kobe with an elbow in the eye, and Kobe wasn't too happy about it because it's the All-Star game. And next Sunday, the Lakers and the Heat were scheduled to play on NBC in National Spotlight. And then that next Sunday, that momentum carried over, and Dwayne Wade and Kobe just were going at each other the whole game. It was one of the best games I've ever seen. It was about 8-10 years ago, but that was my favorite memory because it was kind of cool. The All-Star game is usually kind of like very playful, and then Kobe kind of being Kobe was like, all right, I got hit with the bow, not too happy about it, and then goes into the game next week, and it was just one of the best games I've seen in a long time. So that was mine. The DeMarcus Cousins thing was pretty cool. And then, dude, honestly, when Russell Westbrook won MVP a few years back, Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, I think he at like 20.
He had it back to back, right? Didn't he have 2015 and 2016? Yeah. Those two games, man, I just remember him just going crazy, and I'm a big fan of Russ. Not from an advanced basketball standpoint, but I just love watching him play. I love watching him fly down the court. And man, those 2 years when he was just going crazy in the All-Star game, that was just a lot of fun for me.
There's always exciting moments. I think the highlight of something this year will be something Kobe Bryant. I do think that will be what is the highlight of the All-Star game this year.
Yeah, but listen, man, Devin Booker finally gets an opportunity to play in the All-Star game, but let's not forget how criminal it was that he was snubbed from the All-Star game roster. I mean, of Donovan Mitchell, Brandon Ingram, Russell Westbrook, and Chris Paul, who at the time were all selected to the All-Star game, and Devin Booker wasn't, he averaged more points per game than all of them, nearly more assists than all of them, only Russell Westbrook had more. He had a higher true shooting percentage than all of them, and a higher offensive rating than all of them. Shot nearly 50% from the field. His offensive rating is a career high this year. It's over 112 in the fourth quarter. His 62.6% true shooting percentage is the highest of his career. In the fourth quarter, it's nearly 62%. Over 50% of his field goals this season are unassisted, which is a testament to how creative he is as a scorer. He's hitting nearly 50% of his pull-up jump shots and almost 50% of his step-back jump shots from beyond the arc. I just don't understand how when you pick the All-Star roster, Devin Booker doesn't make it on first off the rip every single time.
Dude, yeah, Devin Booker was – so I saw stats that were comparing Devin Booker – actually, sorry, this is Zach LaVine and Donovan Mitchell, but they also threw Devin Booker in there. But it's just from offensive rating standpoint, when he's on the floor with the Suns, this is 2 weeks ago, it was 112, and then when he goes off, it's 100. So, I mean, that's a pretty big jump off, and it just shows the impact that Booker has. Defensively, it hasn't really carried over this year, but he's not like one of the worst defenders in the NBA like Trae Young is. But Devin Booker is definitely improved on the defensive end. And one thing we found out is Devin Booker isn't just on a bad team putting up like BS box score numbers. He's actually contributes to winning basketball. And I think that has kind of been disrespected for the last couple of years because of the teams he's been on. But it's apparent now that he's a winning basketball player, and I'm happy that he's finally getting the recognition he deserves. The order of which he gets it in, him being a replacement, I'm not a fan of, but I think he's going to be an all-star for at least the next 5 years.
All right, well, we had a lot of fun today, guys. We went all over the place, starting with Chipotle and burritos, all the way to All-Star Game, everything about it. It was fun. First episode of all three of us. Make sure to follow all of us on Twitter. Myself, at Jack Connell TPL, Duffy, at Jack Duffy TPL, and Brock at Landis, Brock, Landes. Anything else you guys want to share about? Anything you're working on?
No, sir. I'm working on this Chipotle burrito, my guy. That's where I'm headed to.
Yeah, I'm about to get eat some sweet potatoes and then probably watch some Steve Novak highlights, honestly.
All right, guys. Make sure to leave 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Twitter and Instagram at PostPositionPod. We'll see you guys later.